And the grid set with the qualifying that was set here on the Friday. There was 1 point for qualifying, and Sloane Frost was the fastest on the Fujitsu TSS Red Baron. Number 4, the red lights are coming on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when they go out, we've got the final race of the Superbikes. It is done and dusted for Dennis Charlotte winning, with Jaden Hassan having the race win here and is now in second place. But the battle's all on for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th. It's just 2 to 3 points, single digits all the way through there. Jaden Hassan, early leader. It was the Hondas the last time round, but Jaden Hassan, we've joined in here with Ian Templeton.
And yeah, Jaden Hassan's made a good break, but look at Sloane Frost coming through. He's into 4th place now. And is that Scott Moyer running around the outside there? I think it was, into pushed back into 6th place there. And very close racing at the front.
Yeah, definitely. Jaden Hassan, mate, a man on a mission and looking for a round win, followed closely by Tony Rees on the Timaru Metal Recyclers sponsored machine. Wow, he's had a season and a half, and now he's found some soft compound tyres. As I say that, he runs a little bit wide, but still saves that second place, and that may even be Hayden Fitzgerald or Dennis Charlotte in third. Dennis, the New Zealand champion. No, there it definitely is Dennis Charlotte, but he goes through into second place, but Tony Rees outbreaks him into the Pepsi Mac quarter. 20-lap race, a 20-minute lap race, and maybe we can see the lap record reclaimed here at Manfield Park. And the lap record at the moment is Super Bikes is a 105.343. We saw it oh so close last time round. So into that first corner again, it was still Hassan, and it's side by side for 2 bikes. Can't quite make it. Oh, is that Sloane Frost come through? Scotty Moyer's on the charge, and Tony Rees has slipped down to 4th place. The race winner in the last race here was number 56 on the Giannis AJ Moss sponsored machine. Well, he's having the ride of his season. Had a tough season all the way through, but certainly Craig Sheriff's looking for a race win here. Another race win, as indeed all these people. Watch out for the M1 Motorsport machine in 2nd, 4th, 6th, 7th place. Maybe 8th place. He had a race win here yesterday as well, and well, he got the monkey off his back after a tough New Zealand Championship campaign and a tough Suzuki Series where he just contested the 2 rounds at Hampton Downs and Manfield. So good to have that team M1 Motorsport with Moggy on support. Joan Frost was their rider for a few years, and he decided he was going in a different direction, and Moggy could have packed up and gone away, but he went out and talked to Lyndon McGee into coming over here. Look at that, number 6 on the and second on the grid. Hayden Fitzgerald is way down in 7th place. 8 winners so far in the New Zealand Superbike Championship round. 8 winners. Big drive out there from Jaden Hassan off in turn 1. Dennis Charlotte had a bit of a problem there, but Suzuki, Honda, Suzuki, yeah, and that's Ryan Hampton.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Ryan. He made a fantastic start on the Hampton Honda supported CBR 1000. And he's having the ride of his life out there, dicing with, is that Lyndon McGee that he's dicing with there?
It is. It's Hampton Honda was a couple of years ago, but now they're Hampton Motorcycles. Look at that. Dennis Charlotte goes up, closes the gap right up there, and on the inside of Jaden Hassan. So he's had tough riding this weekend. Jaden Hassan drops down 1, 2, 3, 4 places. Something's wrong with Jaden Hassan here. Everybody's passing him as he goes down that back straight. So tough for Jaden, but let's look back out in the front. It is Dennis Charlotte is the man on a mission at the moment, and that must be Sloane Frost. And Scotty Moyer had a win last weekend at Taupo and set the lap record. He's now on the track in 3rd position. We go back, and it is the number 56 point last race winner on the Giannis sponsored machine. That is Craig Sheriff, the local fielding man. Tough season all the way through, but took out a race win. Action aplenty here in Templeton.
Absolutely. Just watching Hayden Fitzgerald dive in there underneath Tony Rees into turn 1, and that was a brave move from Hayden. Carried a lot of speed in there, but managed to keep it turned nicely, and so he's trying to catch up with Craig Sheriff now. So we've got a group of 3 at the front, then Craig, then another group of 3, then Ryan Hampton. Great racing out there, ladies and gentlemen.
10 riders there in the 6s. 10 riders in the 6. 9, sorry. No, we all had 10 riders in the 6 with Jaden Hassan. Something's gone wrong with his bike, and he's circulating now there. Just about get pipped to last, so he'll have to pull off the track here somewhere along the line. It is still Dennis Charlotte out in the front, but the battle is on for second place. I think that's Sloane Frost, definitely number 4. Sloane Frost with Scotty Moyer popping his wheel up. Don't discount number 56, Craig Sheriff. Dennis Charlotte is still the quickest man on the track with a 106.049, 0.2 of a second quicker than Sloane Frost out there as they come round. 17 laps to go. It'll be 16 after this, but Sloane Frost is challenging for the lead. and Scotty Moyer's up there as well. And don't forget Craig Schiss, he's moving up on that lead pack. There's nobody getting away really substantially here. The bright orange letters of Phil Lovett in the background, and Sophie Lovett, the 24-year-old, turned 24 today. I said, what do you want for birthday? And she said, I want to beat Dad. And yes, you can see him off in the distance, but right now, yeah, change of position there, was there?
And, Scotty Moyer having a big look around the outside into turn 3, and is he going to carry the speed through the hairpin and get a better drive? He's driven up hard onto the back of Sloane Frost there. So freight train run down for Scotty Moyer, and is he going to get them under brakes?
Watch Linda McGee. He's on a charge from about 6th place. Linda McGee is on a charge from about 6th place. The lap record is 1:05.343. Everyone in the 1:06s at the moment. So the lap record 1:05.343. We're looking at
fantastic racing there. Dennis Charlotte just holding them out at the front. He's got maybe 2 bike lengths on Sloane Frost, who's got maybe 1.5, 2 bike lengths back to Scott Moyer. But essentially the first 4 places, anyone could take this race on back 5, 6 and 7. You're all within a look at this stage of the race.
Definitely, and 10 riders. We had 11 riders in the 6s, 10 riders so far in the 6th second bracket. So close to breaking into those 5s as Dennis Charlotte out on the front, but Sloane Frost is certainly trying hard. Scotty Moyer's trying hard. Everybody out there is trying and trying and trying, and had a tough weekend last weekend and this weekend. Dennis Charlotte went round and off in 6th or 8th place, and certainly he doesn't need to do anything in this race in terms of championship. He's won it, but it's wide open there for 3rd place with Jaden Hassan 44 points ahead of the next place, but he's out of the race now, pulled up somewhere along the line, and a hard chart. Here comes Scotty Moyer on the outside of Sloane Frost. Sloane Frost is trying to get tackling in on Dennis Charlotte. They're 3 to 4 bike lengths, 2 to 3 bike lengths. Sloane Frost tries up on the inside on Charlotte, but Charlotte's just that little bit of late braking. Scotty Moyer there, and it is still 56 Craig Schiss, followed by the Ross Graham Motorsport, Ross Graham Motor sponsor machine of I was going to say Terry Fitzgerald, Hayden Fitzgerald. There's Linda McGee on the big charge as well. Linda McGee had a race win here yesterday. He's on the big charge. He's in 6th position, and in 7th place, the early leader on a lot of the races this weekend is Tony Rees on the CBR 1000 Honda. That must be James Smith there. Yeah, James Smith definitely is broken away from that pack, and Ryan Hampton having almost the ride of his season sitting there as well. It's anybody's game. Scotty Moyer takes the high line there, trying in there. Almost lost the 3rd place to Craig Schiss, because Craig Schiss is on a charge, and well, there's Sloane Frost, gets a dry drain out centre straight, but Scotty Moyer might be the winner of this pack here. No, it is still Dennis Charlotte, followed by Sloane Frost on the TSS Red Baron, Fujitsu GSXR 1000. Moylick pulls up beside him, and it is still him. There's Sloane Frost on the drive down there, a little bit faster sometimes on his bike down the back straight, but no, it is Dennis Charlotte, followed by Sloane Frost, Scotty Moyer, and then I think it's Craig Schiss into 4th place.
So Sloane Frost and Dennis Charlotte both riding the latest model GSXR 1000. Scotty Moyer's on a much older bike. Doesn't have the same braking performance as the 2 later model ones, and it looks like he's just down a wee touch on horsepower exiting the throttles, exiting the corners as well. So he's having an exceptional ride to hang with those guys.
The oldest bike in the field. Look at Sloane Frost. Loses a bit of drive. You saw Hayden Fitzgerald up into 3rd place. A man that got 2nd in the New Zealand GP down at Christchurch a handful of years ago. A man that got his first ever win at Wanganui this year, and a number of 2nd places behind the mighty Red Devil Racing bike of Nick Cole. Nick Cole sidelined for the rest of the season after he was assaulted in Taupo last weekend. Talked to Nick Cole this morning. He's out of hospital, and that Craig Schiss, I don't know what he did. He almost run up on the back of Scott Moyer there in 5th place, and that's played into the hands almost of Linda McGee. Linda McGee trying there. Linda McGee, a race winner this weekend. 8 winners this championship season of the New Zealand Superbikes. We haven't seen that for many years. Sometimes there was only 8 bikes on the track, but certainly a tight pack, and 13 laps to go of this 20-lap race. It's going to be a fitness game for some of these lads out there, because they've already had 5 races. This is the 9th race of Hayden Fitzgerald there. It is Dennis Charlotte going through there on a 106.7, 106.8 and 106.6 for Hayden Fitzgerald. So Hayden is the fastest this front 3 pack, and can he come through there? But right in behind his is the hungry Scotty Moyer. That looks to me like Linda McGee's moved up there into 5th place over and above Craig Schiss. So yes, definitely the M1 Motorsport sponsored bike with Joss Mason doing the publicity for the whole thing. Lovely lady, Joss Mason. He almost gets up on the back of Scotty Moyer now. Yeah, drops off just that little bit. Is still Charlotte down the front. Gets a drive out of the hairpin there on with 12 laps to go here at Manfield Park.
Craig Sheriff's having a look at Lyndon McGee, but Lyndon much later on the brakes into Higgins, so he's going to keep his position there. So looking back from first place, we've got Dennis Charlotte, who's led from basically start to now. But here comes Sloane Frost having a big look down the inside into Pepsi Max, and it looks like he's made that pass stick. And
yes, definitely. Had a race win here this weekend so far as Sloane Frost.
So now we have, and that's a big drive from Dennis Charlotte up the inside of Sloane Frost out of Pepsi Max and into turn one. He'll retake the lead, and Sloane Frost will slip back into second place with Hayden Fitzgerald running third, closely followed by Craig Sheriffs and Lyndon McGee.
Yeah, no, that's not Craig Sheriffs, that's Scotty Moyer on the
Moyer.
Pro Moto TT sponsored GSXR1000. I've said it before, it's the oldest bike of ever. Back in this pack now is James Smith, carrying a leg injury, led a lot of the racing this weekend, and he's dropped off the pace there a little bit, but he's now back on this pack, so there's probably 25 bike lengths separating the top 2, 4, 6, 8 as they go into the hairpin, come out of the hairpin, and it is still Dennis Charlotte. What's that flying BMW up there in 5th place? Can he get on the inside? He's trying on the inside of Scotty Moyer, almost, but Scotty holds him out there, and the second place may be about to change with Hayden Fitzgerald there in second place, and it is Sloane Frost flying up on the inside. It is a braking duel there. They're side by side round this big sweeper here at Manfield. Wow, and they're almost taking on Dennis Charlotte there. That was a little bit of an error by Sloane Frost. Lost a placing there, got a little bit wide there, but what a magnificent move. This is played in the hands of both 87 Scotty Moyer and letter M from Australia, the nephew of Kevin McGee, the Grand Prix star Lyndon McGee on the BMW S1000R Valvoline sponsor machine. Superbike action. We're halfway through the race, the final race of the series, and the current New Zealand champion, the new New Zealand champion, wearing the number 1 on the Underground Brown, Tony Brown sponsored, Tony and Vicky Brown sponsored GSXR1000. Tony couldn't be here this weekend. He's down in Fiordland fishing, but he was here for all the other rounds. Flew into Rotorua last weekend and come down to
Scotty Moyer. Scotty Moyer lost the front end coming through the hairpin, managed to pick it up and save it, but he's given himself a lot of work to do now. Lyndon McGee well clear, and Craig Sheriffs. So Lyndon McGee moved up to 4th place. So that's now Dennis Charlotte and Hayden Fitzgerald, with a bit of a gap ahead of Sloane Frost, and Lyndon McGee closing down on Sloane Frost under the brakes.
Hayden Fitzgerald, 0.1 of a second quicker in that last lap as well, 0.1 of a second quicker, so he's got the, maybe we can make it 9 winners in the New Zealand Superbike Championship class this year, and as I say that, he goes up on the inside of Dennis Charlotte and makes it stick. Charlotte comes back side by side coming out of that corner, but 8 winners already this season. Charlotte gets a drive out of there. Can Hayden Fitzgerald make it win number 9, and I'll tell you who's trying very hard. Gets a bit of a tail wobble on there, the Fujitsu machine of Sloane Frost. Lyndon McGee's moved up from about 7th or 8th into 4th place after winning a race here yesterday at Manfield Park, mate. It's anybody's game. Where is Craig Sheriffs under that mix? Craig Sheriffs has moved up on Scotty Moyer after Scotty Moyer made that mistake. Craig Sheriffs is winding up that big Suzuki GSXR1000. He's got the BMW in his sights in front, but it is still Dennis Charlotte out the front. Hayden Fitzgerald poked his nose in here for the Superbike race. Who's the quickest bike? Wow, that's the quicker bike of Hayden Fitzgerald. He jumps out of the slipstream, but the superior speed of the machine out in the front of Dennis Charlotte, and the riding has got it here with 9 laps to go. As they come across the start-finish line, there'll be just 8 laps to go in the New Zealand Superbike Championship, and it's still wide open here for the podium for the last race of the day.
It's Sloane Frost having a look up the inside of Hayden Fitzgerald there. One comment I'd like to make is Ryan Hampton having a fantastic ride. Less than 70 metres behind essentially what's the leading pack.
40 thousandths of a second separates the first 2 bikes in the in the last lap, and that's between Dennis Charlotte on the Underground Brown Suzuki GSXR1000, sponsored also by Avon City Motorcycles, Sportsville Sports Medicine, and amongst other people, Underground Brown, like I mentioned, and he's got it charging down that centre line. But Hayden Fitzgerald, followed by Sloane Frost, Lyndon McGee, and not backed off the pace at all is the last race winner, and that's 56. The local man, Craig Sheriff. Scotty Moyer's back in on that pack, and the other 2 Hondas there have broken back a little bit, and that's James Smith, who's gone through and passed Tony Rees. Don't know whether Tony's suffering tyre issues, because it's not characteristic for him to drop off the pace like this. So So absolutely legendary superbike racing in Templeton.
Absolutely fantastic out there. Just watching Dennis Charlotte coming across the line, closely followed by Hayden Fitzgerald and Sloane Frost. Big move into turn 1 by Hayden. Can he hold the line? No, Dennis comes back underneath him. So Hayden's definitely trying in turn 1. He's giving it absolutely everything he's got there, Spider.
Oh, yeah. All these guys are absolutely doing it. There's Linda McGee moves up on the back of Sloane Frost as well. So Sloane Frost is under threat, but don't discount the other 2 riders. All these guys have had a win this season. All these guys, with the exception of Hayden Fitzgerald out there in second place. I don't want to put the commentator's curse on them, mate. What electric racing, 7 laps to go out of a 20-lap race, and the next race on the agenda is sidecars, followed by Superlight 125 Grand Prix, and then the development class. It is still out of Higgins there with 7 laps to go. It is still Dennis Charlotte, but expect a big charge from Sloane Frost eventually. There goes Sloane Frost. He's pulling up almost beside Hayden Fitzgerald. Hayden Fitzgerald just a little bit. That's Linda McGee. Linda McGee moves up into 3rd place. Had a race win yesterday. He's on target possibly for another race win. Linda McGee, good on you, mate. Just get on the grass. And yeah, saying that Jaden Hassan has expired in the first race.
Absolutely, and very, very tight into turn 1 there. Still Dennis Charlotte leading from Hayden Fitzgerald, but Linda McGee moving up into 3rd place. He's really going to put the pressure on this leading pack now. He's going to see if he can get through on Hayden and then work on Dennis. He's having a wee look around into turn 3. He'll be looking for a good run into the hairpin and a good drive out of there. Maybe a move on the brakes into Higgins there. So fantastic racing coming out of the hairpin here. Still Dennis Charlotte by a couple of bike lengths. In fact, he pulls an extra bike length from Hayden Fitzgerald. Linda McGee closing up under brakes, but he's looking for the high line to get the good run out. So he'll be looking for a run into Pepsi Max from there.
Definitely, it is still Dennis Charlotte. We're all in the 106s. All the bikes, the top 10 bikes, all running 106s somewhere along this lap.
And here goes Linda McGee into Pepsi Max underneath Hayden Fitzgerald. That's a nice tidy move, and he closes right up behind Dennis Charlotte. He'll be looking for a good draft down the straight.
2 riders set their fastest lap in that last lap of this pack, and that was Sloane Frost and Craig Sheriff. So Sloane Frost and Craig Sheriff, and I couldn't quite tell. I think it was Dennis Charlotte still out in the front there. Linda McGee's having a good look up on the inside. Somebody doesn't get the drive, and I think that's Sloane Frost, and has let Hayden Fitzgerald through there. Craig Sheriff's followed by Scotty Moyer. James Smith is now coming back in onto this pack, mate. What an exceptional ride for James Smith. Had a win at Timaru in the 2014 Superbike Championships in the second weekend of January, and now carrying an injured leg from a crash there. So, wow.
Moyer around the outside.
Yeah, the big move there was by Linda McGee. Tried to come up on the inside of Dennis Charlotte, but Dennis shut the door. He'll be able to hear him right in there, both on the Suzuki. He'll be able to hear that Linda McGee riders there on the tail. Remember, this is not over. Another 5 laps to go. Quarter of the race distance to go. That BMW winds up down that back straight. He's now in the hot seat to try and get his 2nd Superbike Championship. First ever Superbike win for this Australian man. Never had one in Australia. Had the Supersport win, but first ever Superbike win. So remember, when you hear this name in the future, that you saw him here at Manfield get his first ever Superbike win. The gap is spread out between 3rd, 4th and 5th, but
it's fantastic racing, though, still really close. And is that Linda McGee having a look around the outside of Dennis Charlotte into Toyota turn 1? That's a brave, brave move. You've got to carry a lot of extra speed through Toyota to make that work.
Dennis Charlotte, I think, just got a bit of a tail happy there. Might have lost the front end a little bit, and this will put it and land to the hands of Linda McGee. Well, I think they just about touched then.
Yeah.
Linda McGee out wide into the hairpin, trying to come back through for that drive on the inside, but he would have seen Dennis make a mistake. We haven't seen many mistakes out of Dennis, if any, during the whole New Zealand Championship, mate. Normally a spotless rider, but not taking anything away from him. They go into Higgins, 4 laps to go, and it is Charlotte, and about a bike and a half length for Linda McGee. Linda McGee gets a drive out of there, and in 3rd place we've still got the RGM Ross Graham Motors sponsored GSXR 1000 of Hayden Fitzgerald. 4th place Sloane Frost. They come round into Pepsi Max.
Linda McGee making a fantastic dive underneath Dennis Charlotte there for the lead through Pepsi Max, and a fantastic run down the straight for Linda and Dennis. both going to get a good clean run. Dennis is having a look up the inside. I'm not sure he's going to do it this time, but he knows that he's got a fantastic package underneath him. He'll just follow Lyndon for half a lap or so and get his head back together, and then he'll have another look.
106.4 for Hayden Fitzgerald. He's the quickest of those three. 106.7. This is the last lap. Dennis Charlotte, and a 106.5 almost flat for Lyndon McGee. So Lyndon McGee out in the front, already had one this weekend, one win this weekend, and he'll know that he doesn't have to give up there. Was that another slide there from Dennis Charlotte coming out of the hairpin?
It was indeed. So Dennis's tyres starting to feel it now. They've done 17 of 20 laps. Those tyres have absolutely had their best. Now these guys are just riding on pure feel and talent. And so out the front, Lyndon McGee making a good exit out of Higgins Sweeper, and he's actually pulling a wee bit of a gap on Dennis there.
Craig Sheriffs is charging through and has Sloane Frost well in his sights, and there's 3 to 4 bike lengths between, but don't discount Scotty Moyer to come back. And what a ride we're seeing from James Smith with the injured left leg, having trouble just steering the Superbike with the leg going a bit lame halfway through. But there it is, another faultless lap, 1.6.5 by Lyndon McGee on the Valvoline sponsored BMW. Dennis Charlotte tries to have a look up on the inside, doesn't quite make it stick, but he's got to be also worried about Hayden Fitzgerald sitting there.
Absolutely, Hayden's having a really good ride. He's just following him nice and close.
Sheriffs, the hard chargers come through. Sorry about that, Ian, but Sheriffs, the hard chargers come through and past Sloane Frost, and now Scotty Moyer is right on the back passage of Sloane Frost. So it's still anybody's game. Just 2 laps to go here at Manfield Park for the final Superbike race of the season. Lyndon McGee, you're a legend. Dennis Charlotte, you're a legend. All these guys and girls, of course, with Sophie Lovett, the 24-year-old, turned 24 today. She's a legend. Phil Lovett, the old man in the bright orange leathers on the Kawasaki out there as well. So they're looking out for the white flag after when they pass the thing. Dennis Charlotte's getting some more legs here. He closes the gap up on Lyndon McGee. They go out of sight into the Pepsi Max quarter. It is still McGee. They close down to about 2 bike lengths, 1 bike length, and sitting in the hot seat watching all this is Hayden Fitzgerald. He'll be sweating like a nun in a vibrator factory, really. Dennis Charlotte goes up on the inside there at the end of the front straight, over and above Lyndon McGee. Dennis Charlotte, 0.3 of a second quicker on that lap. Wow, that's electric and Superbike racing. No, McGee's not going to give up here. He's right there as a bike length in between, but remember, we've seen a couple of slips and slides from Dennis Charlotte. So Dennis Charlotte, a late hard charger, been leading most of this race. Here we go. Craig Shrift is coming through there. White flag's out.
Yep, we're on the last lap here, Spider, so it's all on now. There'll be no holding back from anyone. Dennis has seen the white flag come out. He knows that he's really got to get a push on now if he wants to catch Lyndon McGee. But Lyndon knows he's there and he knows he's coming. I'd look for Lyndon to be a little bit defensive into Higgins and try and get a really, really good drive. And let's see who's got the legs down into Pepsi Max and the bravery on the brakes.
Wow, Dennis Charlotte, but the flyer in the moment is Craig Shrift. He's got 3rd in his sights. Lyndon McGee tries up on the inside, but Dennis Charlotte, I think, I couldn't quite see who that was.
It looks like Lyndon's got it.
Lyndon's got it. Sorry about that, M1 Motorsport. Here we go. Lyndon McGee for his 2nd win ever in New Zealand Superbike Champions and Superbikes. Lyndon McGee, you're a legend. Dennis Charlotte, you're also a legend. And there goes Hayden Fitzgerald, Craig Shrift, who won the last race there, followed by Sloane Frost, Scotty Moyer, James Smith and Tony Rees. We're looking out for number 19, the Hampton Motorcycle sponsored rider of Ryan. Hasn't had the best of showing this season, but I tell you what, in the other seasons he had some a few offs and that sort of thing. Seems to have tidied that up, seemed to be rewriting a bit.